Chris, what are the main takeaways from the addresses that we heard earlier from Trump and, of course, Macron?
Well, I guess whenever you have those two presidents together, contemporary politics is always going to be a little bit to the forefront, given their alleged bromance, which then went sour. Macron, the supposed internationalist, globalist, and Trump, the supposed isolationist. We did hear a little bit from Macron today about the risk that he feared of wasting what he called the promise of Normandy, the promise brought about by these landings and what they did for the course of World War II afterwards. He talked up the achievements made during that period, NATO, the European Union, things which Donald Trump has, of course, been sceptical upon. But in the end, from both sides, this was really about much more about talk of unity. Emmanuel Macron would say that France would never forget, could never forget the sacrifice that was made by the Americans. And Donald Trump, for his part, as he hailed many individual acts of heroism on those beaches and in the campaign which came after it, saying that France and America's alliance, regardless of any contemporary differences, would remain unshakable. Those two are going for further talks in private after this ceremony, but in terms of what was said in public here, as I said, the talk was of unity and putting aside the political differences.
Now, we've been, of course, marking this anniversary every year since 1944. Why is this commemoration so significant, Chris?
That's something the organisers have been briefing everybody on here today. It's 75 years now since. You have to excuse the noise as we're treated to an aerial display as this ceremony winds up. But those organisers saying that this 75th anniversary really significant in terms of the amount of time that has passed since then. Many of those men who landed on the Normandy beaches, particularly here at Omaha Beach, very, very young, many of them volunteers who felt compelled to take the fight to the Nazis, and many of them are now those survivors in their mid-90s. Some of them are over 100 years of age. There were just 35 of them present here today in Colleville-Sur-Mer in terms of those who landed on the beaches. The message from organisers really is that we should pay tributes now while these men are still with us, and so that they can once again transmit their message to the younger generation who don't forget the lessons of the past.